A game of chess. Section 02. A game of chess. Line no 1 to 10. The chair she sat in, like a burnished throne, glowed on the marble, where the glass, held up by standards wrought with fruited vines, from which a golden cupidon peeped out. Another hid his eyes behind his wing, doubled the flames of seven-branched candelabra, reflecting light upon the table as the glitter of her jewels rose to meet it. From satin cases poured in rich profusion, in vials of ivory and colored glass, unstoppered, lurked her strange synthetic perfumes. Explanation. These lines are taken from the opening section of T.S. Eliot's poem, The Wasteland. The speaker describes a scene of opulence and luxury, focusing on the details of a woman's surroundings. The imagery is vivid, with rich descriptions of the furniture, decor, and accessories. The opening line sets the scene by describing the woman's chair. It's compared to a burnished throne, which suggests that the woman is powerful and regal. The chair is also described as glowing on the marble, which adds to the sense of opulence and luxury. The glass, mentioned in the first line, is held up by standards, or supports, that are decorated with vines and fruit. This adds to the sense of abundance and fertility. A golden cupidon, or cupid, is described as peeping out from the vines, which adds a playful and erotic element to the scene. The cupidon in the previous line is described as hiding his eyes behind his wing, which adds to the playfulness and eroticism. The line about the candelabra suggests that there are multiple candles, which creates a lot of light and heat. The word, doubled, suggests that the light is intensified, adding to the sense of excess and indulgence. The light from the candelabra is reflected onto the table, which emphasizes the opulence of the setting. The woman's jewels are described as glittering, which adds to the sense of luxury and wealth. The line, rose to meet it, suggests that the jewels are almost alive, as if they're reaching for the light. In the next line, the woman's belongings are described in detail, with references to satin cases, ivory vials, and colored glass. The phrase, rich profusion, suggests that there's a lot of these items, which emphasizes the sense of excess and indulgence. The reference to strange synthetic perfumes adds to the sense of mystery and exoticism. Overall, these lines create a vivid picture of a luxurious and decadent environment, with references to abundance, excess, and indulgence. The ornate language emphasizes the opulence of the setting, while the playful and erotic elements hint at deeper themes of decadence, excess, and emptiness. Line number 11 to 20. Unguent, powdered, or liquid, troubled, confused, and drowned the sense in odors, stirred by the air that freshened from the window. These ascended, in fattening the prolonged candle flames, flung their smoke into the liqueria, stirring the pattern on the coffered ceiling. Huge seawood fed with copper, burned green and orange, framed by the colored stone, in which sad light a carved dolphin swam. Explanation. The opening lines describe a room filled with a variety of scents, including unguent, powdered, or liquid. The scents are so overwhelming that they troubled and confused the senses of the speaker. The scents are described as drowning the sense of smell, which emphasizes their potency. The scents are carried through the air by a fresh breeze from the window, which adds to their dispersal throughout the room. The scents ascend and fatten the prolonged candle flames, which suggests that they are almost fueling the flames. The smoke from the candles is described as being flung into the liqueria, or plaster ceilings with intricate patterns, and as stirring the patterns on the coffered ceiling. This gives the impression that the scents and smoke are alive and active in the room. The final lines of the stanza describe a piece of artwork in the room. The huge seawood fed with copper is burning with green and orange flames, which contrasts with the sad light that is coming from the colored stone. This suggests that the artwork is both beautiful and melancholic. The carved dolphin in the stone adds a sense of movement and life to the otherwise still and stagnant environment. The image of the burning seawood and the carved dolphin are juxtaposed with the overwhelming scents and smoke in the room, which adds to the sense of tension and contradiction in the stanza. Overall, these lines paint a vivid picture of a room filled with overwhelming scents and a sense of decadence and excess. The language is rich and ornate, with vivid descriptions of the scents and the artwork in the room. The contrast between the scents and smoke and the artwork adds a sense of tension and contradiction, which is a common theme in T.S. Eliot's poetry. Line number 21 to 30. Above the antique mantel was displayed, as though a window gave upon the sylvan scene, The change of Philomel, by the barbarous king. So rudely forced, yet there the nightingale filled all the desert with inviolable voice. And still she cried, and still the world pursues. Jug jug, to dirty ears. And other withered stumps of time were told upon the walls, staring forms leaned out, leaning, hushing the room enclosed. Explanation. The stanza describes the artwork on the wall above the antique mantel in the room. The painting depicts the mythological story of Philomel, who was raped by the barbarous King Tereus and then transformed into a nightingale. The painting creates the illusion of a sylvan scene, as if the window had opened to reveal it. Despite the violent and tragic nature of the story, the nightingale in the painting sings with an inviolable voice that fills the desert. The repetition of, "and still she cried," emphasizes the persistence of the nightingale's voice, which remains beautiful and pure despite the violence that led to its creation. However, the world around the nightingale is indifferent to its beauty and purity, as represented by the meaningless and dirty sound of jug jug that fills the air. The second half of the stanza describes other pieces of artwork in the room, which are described as withered stumps of time. This phrase suggests that the art is old and worn out, possibly no longer relevant or valuable. The staring forms, leaning out from the walls create a sense of tension and unease in the room. The phrase, hushing the room enclosed, implies that the artwork is controlling the environment, watching and listening to what happens within it. Overall, the stanza explores the theme of the persistence of beauty and purity in the face of violence and indifference. The painting of Philomel and the nightingale represents the persistence of beauty and purity, while the other artwork in the room represents the indifference of the world around it. The language is rich and evocative, creating a vivid image of the room and the artwork within it.